Welcome to the podcast about investing in startups, where existing investors can learn how to get the best deal possible, and those that have never before invested in startups can learn the keys to success from the venture experts. Your host is Nick Moran, and this is The Full Ratchet.
Welcome back to TFR for a special installment of Investor Stories. In this segment, the investors tell a story about some of the most odd and unusual situations they've ever encountered as investors. This is the segment called The Strange and Unusual. On this special segment, we have Jeremy Neilson of Assure Fund Management. Jeremy, can you tell us a story about the craziest situation you've encountered while working with early-stage businesses and investment managers?
Yeah, it kind of goes along with what I just mentioned, but we're basically a structuring company. We structure and do all that, the structuring and back office for private transactions. And one example is a client called and said, "Hey, can you help me with a couple SPVs?" And I'm like, "Sure. When do you think they'll close?" And he's like, "They've already closed like 8 months ago." And he says, "We did the deal, but I didn't send any of the investors' money to the deal. I just sent it out of my own pocket. And so all the investors' money is like sitting in a bank account. I don't even know which one. I'm going to have to go figure out where the money is. And I didn't have them sign any docs, and I didn't even set up the entity."
Oh, wow.
So just like, got a deal. Who's interested? Some people wired in, and then he just did the deal. And then 8 months later, he called me to try to clean it up and fix it, I guess. And many times we are fixers, but that is the most extreme. Most clients aren't like that, but that is an extreme situation that we've run into.
I'd say so. On this special installment of Investor Stories, we have Jason Whitney of IU Ventures. Jason, can you tell us a story about the craziest situation or pitch you've encountered?
Oh, man, this is a great one. Yeah. So I had some outreach from an entrepreneur and agreed to take a call with them. And it was a drug development company, really cutting edge technology in the computational chemistry space. And as I researched the founder, I noticed that he had been a NASA astronaut, which was very intriguing, right?
Wow.
How often do you get to talk to a NASA astronaut?
Not often.
And this individual had spent 150 days on the International Space Station. Like, wow, that's really cool. I'd rather talk about that than this technology. So for 40 minutes, he talks to me and my colleague about this company that he's going to launch. And there was a lot of things about it that didn't really make sense to me. And I wasn't following the chemistry. I'm not a chemist. It's not my area. I can usually ask enough questions to kind of figure out what's going on, but I wasn't even allowed to ask questions for 40 minutes. And my colleague and I are looking at each other across the table, and we're both kind of shrugging, like, I have no idea what this guy's talking about. After 40 minutes, he stops and says, "Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know I have a more technical, scientific set of slides if you'd rather dig into those." And I said, "Pal, I haven't understood a word you've said for the last 40 minutes. I did not spend 100 days on the International Space Station. I'm not an astronaut. I don't even know what to do with this company." So
that happens. It happens.
We all had a good laugh about it. And I don't think he thought it was as funny as I did, because he had really done a nice presentation for 40 minutes. But it's not often you get to interact with somebody that's lived on the International Space Station who can just blow your mind with amazing science.
Love it. I mean, There's a situation where he could be the perfect co-founder if he finds the right guy to link up with that understands the tech but can kind of run the business side and work with other stakeholders. I mean, could be special, but as an independent, when you're so technical that you can't break it down in layperson's speak, it's tough.
No, and that's one of the obstacles that we have at the university, and every university has, is trying to find business leaders for really technical scientific companies. And we struggle with that every day, but it's definitely high on our priority list to continue to recruit management talent.
On today's special segment, we have Jenny Rooke of Genoa Ventures. Jenny, can you tell us a story about the craziest situation or pitch you've encountered as an investor?
Yeah. The most unusual or strange pitches or ideas that I've seen, actually not from my seat as a VC investor, but back from my days at the Gates Foundation, one of the things that the Gates Foundation does extremely well is to use different approaches to encourage innovation, really to try to address its mission, and to really look for innovative ideas and evaluate them on the merit of the idea rather than the source or the reputation. And so there's a mechanism called Grand Challenges Explorations, where they take applications from all comers. It's a short application for a small dollar award, but it's something that a practitioner could use to do proof of concept work. And so it's just a great way to stimulate innovation at all levels and types. So that's fantastic. But because it's a low barrier to entry, for any given Grand Challenges call, we would get thousands and thousands of applications from all over the world, and our very hardworking team would separate those into categories. And I would always request the category that was that nobody else wanted, which was the sort of the question mark category. And it was sometimes really amazing ideas that weren't necessarily tethered to reality, which is exciting, or approaches that maybe could work, but they were so far beyond what the current state of development was of science that it would be decades before we would know it was going to work. So I found those really inspiring, to be honest, although obviously sometimes quite humorous, because it really just showed the range of human ingenuity when you put out a big grand goal in front of people.
Was there a concept that sticks out that you remember?
There was one applicant who was looking for enough money to finish the mass spectrometer that he had been building in his garage for 30 years based on plans from Scientific American.
Wow.
So I thought that was a great project, but probably not the best use of the foundation's grant dollars.
That will conclude this installment of Investor Stories. If you're enjoying the program and would like to see it continue, take a moment and leave a 5-star review in iTunes. Also, if you'd like updates on new content from TFR, as well as the top 10 VC articles every week, go to fullratchet.net and sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that will wrap things up for today. Until next time, over-prepare, choose carefully, and invest confidently. Thanks for joining me.